Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Dave Chula again with another inspirational. So I'm at a really awkward place. Down the road from my house, there is a cemetery, and I decided to come over here, which I often do. And I like to come here. Not only is it quiet, it's the only place you could be surrounded by people and not have to hear a word. But all jokes aside, there's something I was thinking about. And I was reading in Ecclesiastes this morning. And I can't read the whole thing, but I'll read the parts that really got to me. It says in chapter 9, starting in verse 3, it says, "This is the evil in everything that happens under the sun. The same destiny overtakes all. The hearts of people, moreover, are full of evil, and there is madness in their hearts while they live, and afterward they join the dead. Anyone who is among the living has hope. Even a live dog is better off than a dead lion. For the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. They have no further reward, and even their name is forgotten. Their love, their hate, their jealousy have long since vanished. Never again will they have part in anything that happens under the sun. So go eat your food with gladness and drink your wine with a joyful heart, for God has already approved what you do. Always be clothed in white, and always anoint your head with oil. Enjoy life with your wife, whom you love, all the days of this meaningless life that God has given you under the sun. All of your meaningless days. For this is your lot in life, and your toilsome labor under the sun. Whatever your hand finds fit to do, do it with all your might. For in the realm of the dead, where you are going, there is neither working, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom. No wisdom. I have seen something else under the sun. The race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor does food come to the wise, or wealth to the brilliant, or favor to the learned, but time and chance happens to them all. Moreover, I know no one knows when their time will come. As fish are caught in a cruel net, or birds are taken in a snare, so people are trapped by evil times that fall on them unexpectedly." So, there's a lot going on here, but one of the things that I think about is that, first of all, a lot of times we say, well, may not be God's will, or that may not be God's plan, or that person's rich because of this, that, or the other thing, or that person's successful because of this, that, and other thing. And the Bible makes it clear that, well, first of all, we all have a destiny, and we are more in control of that destiny than we think. We are in control of that destiny more than we give ourselves credit for. You have the power to succeed. You have the power not to succeed. And that's life itself. You have not, maybe you've gotten a bad cards dealt to you, but it's not hopeless for you. It's not hopeless as long as you're still alive. And it says right here, those who are alive still have hope. Even a live dog is better than a dead lion. You may be a dog, but you're not a dead lion. And there's no reason why you can't succeed. So why am I doing this in the cemetery? Because at the end of the day, we all end up here. This is our destiny for each one of us. We are going to die. There's some things that are guaranteed in life. One of those things is death. You're guaranteed that you are going to die. You're guaranteed that you are going to end your days in the grave. Maybe you'll end your days at 27. Maybe you'll end your days at 107. But at the end of the day, you're going to die. So while you're alive, why not make it the best life? Why not live each day as if it was your last? Doesn't mean you sin it up and do whatever you want and hurt whoever you want and make as much money as you can. As the rap artist once said, I'm going to get rich or die trying. Really? You do realize that God gives the task of evil men to gather riches so that they can give it to the righteous? There's a scripture that says that, and I don't have time to look for that scripture, but there is a scripture that says that, God gives a task to evil, wicked men of gathering so that they may pass away and give it to the righteous. So that can't be your life, to make as much money as you can. So why not just live each day and appreciate the things that God has given you? When I was a respiratory therapist, I saw a lot of death. I saw a lot of people pass away. And they all say the same thing when they're about to die and they're getting real close and they know it's the end. They all say the same thing. But one thing they don't say, or a few things they don't say, is, man, I really wish I would have invested in crypto. Man, I really wish I would have bought that car. Oh man, that house on the lake, I really wish I would have purchased that house on the lake. Oh, that new suit I wanted to get, man, that cost $1,000. Man, I really wish I would have bought that suit. I really wish I would have made more money. I really wish I had more money. No. They all say the same thing. I wish I had more time. Man, I just wish I had more time. I wish I would have spent more time with my family. I wish I would have spent more time with my loved ones. I wish I would have spent more time chasing God instead of chasing my dreams. Not that chasing your dreams is bad, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's meaningless. Your life is absolutely meaningless. Your big house, your nice car is absolutely meaningless without God, but it's also double meaningless if you have no one to share it with. You have this big, gigantic house and fake friends that only like you because you have money, and then when the money is gone, so are they. Gene Hackman just recently passed away with his wife. His wife died first. She was real sick. They had put the dog to sleep in the cage, and she died that night. She went to sleep and didn't wake up. Him having dementia, severe dementia, probably didn't feed himself. Was too senile to know how to take care of himself, and he passed away. And they both died. They didn't find their bodies till like weeks or months later, and no one ever checked on them. No one ever cared enough to make sure they were okay. And they had a big house. They had a lot of money. They had plenty of fame and fortune to rely on to take care of all their needs, and they didn't have the one thing that they needed the most, was deep enough relationships for people to check on them. And they wind up dying alone. I mean, is that what you want? I know I'm kind of all over the place here, but I guess my point is this. All of us are going to go to the grave. And you can't take your riches to the grave. You can't take your fame, your fortune to the grave. You can't even take your resume to the grave. Because every single one of these people in the graveyard, unless they died recently, their loved ones no longer remember them because their loved ones are no longer alive. There's graves here that was since 1798. I doubt very much anybody remembers those people. We have some judges that were buried here, and they were some of the first judges here in Newberry, if I'm not mistaken. It's around the corner here. And they were high-ranking officials or whatever the position they had, but no one visits their grave site. I think I see flowers on the grave every holiday, only because the city out of respect puts flowers on their grave, but they don't have loved ones coming to visit them. They don't remember who they are or what they did. Eventually this whole graveyard, maybe another 100 years from now, won't even be a graveyard. It'd just be a piece of land that they're going to build houses on. Who knows? I mean, eventually you're just going to be forgotten. So while you're alive, make the best of every opportunity to help somebody else's life be even better. Your biggest smile on your face when you see somebody else succeed. And the funny thing about it is, when you help somebody else succeed, you also succeed. When you help somebody else succeed, you also succeed. When you help somebody else, go out of your way to help somebody, make their life better, it only makes your life better. So the people who are alive, who remember you, will be inspired to do great things, and it causes a chain reaction. So all the great things that you did while you're alive, and you pass that greatness on to somebody else, and they learn how to be great because you taught them to be great, they'll teach their loved ones to be great, who in turn would teach their loved ones to be great, and you start a chain reaction so that greatness carries on. And that's what will be remembered. 1,000 years from now, if we're all still alive, no one's going to remember Dr. Martin Luther King. No one's going to remember all the great things he did. But if they carry out what he did and carry out his greatness, then what he did for people will be remembered through what we do because of what we learned from him. And I'm using that name as an example. That goes for anybody. I'm not going to be remembered after I die 300 years from now. But if I can teach someone something and they take what I've taught them and they teach that same thing to somebody else and it passes on from generation to generation to generation, just like evil is passed on from generation to generation to generation, so is good. We tend to forget that. Good is also passed on from generation to generation to generation to generation, just like evil is. And what does the Bible say? Overcome evil with good. There's so much in this book of Ecclesiastes, and I really encourage you, if you're an atheist, to read that book. If you haven't read it already, and if you know you don't believe in the Bible, I really encourage you to read that book. Because this book, the book of Ecclesiastes, really empathizes with the atheist. Because if atheism is true, life is truly meaningless. There is no need to be good. There's no need to be evil. You might as well just kill the baby in the delivery room because it's meaningless. Why be alive? You're just a clump of cells. Then you got to get up out of your crib, go to school, get a job, get a career, just so you can pay taxes and pay bills. What kind of life is that? That's meaningless. The bamboos in the forest and the elephants in the African tundra have better life than we have. If that's the case, The birds that fly around and chirp and eat bugs have a better life than us. They must pity us. The animals must pity us. You got to go get a job to work and just pay the government and then pay bills and struggle. I get up, I eat, I poop, I take care of my young. I enjoy the sunrise and the sunset. I have no worries. Life is beautiful. But for a human, without God, life is meaningless. And the atheist is right. Life is meaningless. We're just a bunch of meaningless creatures that float around the universe that have no meaning. Because why? If we're just a happen chance, one big gigantic accident, accidents have no meaning. I don't drive by a train wreck and say, "Oh wow, how interesting here." I'm horrified of an accident. I'm terrified of an accident. I pity the people in an accident. I don't want to be those people who are in a train accident or a car accident. Anyways, so I guess my point is, make the most of every opportunity today to be the best version of you can possibly be. Not just for you, but also so you can make somebody else smile. Because if you can do that, then your life takes on more meaning. And they can take that and pay it forward. Do more than just pay for the person's meal behind you in the drive-thru, buying food that you shouldn't be eating anyways because it's so bad for you. Do more than just buy someone a cup of coffee. But how about just really encourage somebody? If you're at the gym and you see someone who's overweight and they're busting their tail trying to lose weight and they're sweating and they're pumping, but you're in shape, hand them a note saying, "Hey man, I'm proud of you. Hey man, keep going for it. Keep pushing for your goal. You got this. You got this, man. You got this. You got this." Sometimes you'll be a bit surprised what one tiny word can do for somebody. Anyways, there was a famous story of a guy who wanted to commit suicide, and he wanted to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. So he was on the bus, and the whole time he was on the bus, people were just saying really nasty things to him, just being people. And the bus driver, had stopped by the Golden Gate Bridge, and he said, "Well, get off. This is your stop. Get off." And the whole time the guy was just thinking, no, just one person says something to me that's nice, or something that will change my mind, I won't do it. Well, no one he did. He wound up jumping off the bridge. Now, he wound up living. But the case was, before you judge somebody by how they look, you never know what battle they're going through. Just because someone looks good on the outside doesn't mean they got it all together. And just because someone looks bad on the outside doesn't mean they don't have it all together. Looks can be very deceiving. They call it makeup for a reason. They call it a suit for a reason. Because it dresses up the outside and it can sometimes hide what's in the inside. And before you judge, before you do that, just think about what you can say to help that person be the best version of them that they can be. And in return, that reward will come back to you tenfold. I know I was all over the place here, and I'm sorry. Not always easy to gather my thoughts on the fly, but hopefully you'll be inspired by this. And Book of Ecclesiastes, I read from chapter 9. I only read very, very small part of it. There's a lot of meat there. I'll probably go at it again in a later date. But guys, I love you, and I hope everything is well with you. You take care.